Hello, my name is Ian McCall, and this was a presentation from the Skin Cancer College Australasia blog on the 4th of April by Richard Johns. He asked the question, he had 3 cases with white circles. How reliable is the sign? What do you think of the 3 cases below? Let's have a little look at them first. This was a pigmented lesion here on the tip of the nose, fairly extensive. This was the dermatoscopy showing the white circles here. This is probably a small amount of sebaceous material in the opening of the sebaceous glands here, and you've got the white circle around about this. Occasionally in some of these you may have a rosette sign. This is the 4-leaf clover sign. It's not terribly obvious, but you'll sometimes see that in the opening of follicles in lesions that are in pigmented actinic keratosis. The other thing you've got here is this pigmentation. There's not much of it. It's almost in sort of fissures in the skin. So let's have a just look at the next few images. Here's another one on the temple. You've got this darker area here and a pink area just adjacent to it. What does the dermatoscopy show? That's the darker area, looking very uniform, looking somewhat like a seborrheic keratosis dermatoscopically. Here you have quite marked white lines within this. You've got this pink background here and these thickened white lines. We're assuming again that this means thickened keratin in the opening of the hair follicles. And when you see that, you're normally thinking of a actinic keratosis, an IEC, intraepidermal carcinoma, SCC in situ, or an SCC or KA, keratoacanthoma. Occasionally you'll also get white circles in conditions such as discoid lupus, where you've got a degree of follicular plugging with keratin in the opening of hair follicles. So in that one, it's much thicker, the white lines, the circles that we're seeing there, I should say. You would go more in that one for an intraepidermal carcinoma, SCC in situ, involving the full thickness of the epidermis. This one, you have a pink area on the forehead here. We can't see a lot more about it clinically. You'd be interested to see if you could see any follicular plugging or the like here. I mean, a pink area like this that's rough, especially if it's raised, would suggest an SCC in situ, but you could also get that with discoid lupus if you had a single solitary pink lesion like this in a sun-exposed area. What does the dermatoscopy look like there? Well, again, a lot of white circles, perhaps not quite as prominent as the second one, but certainly very extensive. I'm not seeing any rosettes around the outside here. So again, SCC in situ rather than invasive SCC. Alright, let's have a little look at what the assessments were from Richard. This was the pathology here. Case 1 on the nasal tip was a pigmented intraepidermal carcinoma. So it was more than just solar keratosis arising in a background of solar keratosis. Remember that solar keratosis basically represents, 5/6 of the epidermis from the basal layer up, looking atypical, with only the top layer looking normal. And usually there isn't extensive involvement into hair follicles. There's a lichenoid inflammatory reaction, quite prominent pigment incontinence. Well, that would explain some of those lines, dark lines we were seeing there. Pigments also noticed within the stratum corneum. No evidence of dermal invasion. Solar keratosis extends to the lateral edge. I think this was a shave that had been done. So that was a pigmented IEC. Case 2, the one that we thought clinically had the seborrheic keratosis in the pink area. The pink area was a well-differentiated acantholytic. That just means there's some separation of the keratinocytes histologically. SCC infiltrating the full thickness of the shaved biopsy. I'm assuming they're saying there that that was an invasive SCC, and it did have the thicker white lines. And case 3, the one on the glabella, again, same sort of report. Again, acanthotic, well-differentiated SCC involving the full thickness of the shaved biopsy. So, presumably, this is solar keratosis and IEC, and these were both invasive squamous cell skin cancers that would have merited re-excision. Let's just go down. I was commenting there that usually histologically in actinic keratoses you don't get extensive involvement down here, follicles, so the white circles, if present, should not be thick. If thick, then IEC or invasive SCC is more likely. So cases 2 and 3, Richard re-excised those. There was no residual SCC, in fact. Some comments from Cliff Rosendahl, who's published on this topic. How reliable are white circles in a raised lesion? Well, if it's a raised lesion, 87% specific for SCC or KA if the lesion's raised. 44% of them have it. No study's been done on flat lesions. Cliff then gave his take on what he thought these were. And he just gave a definition there that a white circle, a circle is a curved line equidistant from a central point. It doesn't matter if they surround an orange clod. White is whiter than the surrounding skin. So, in this particular cases, white circles were in fact of some value in making the diagnosis of either SCC in situ or in fact of invasive SCC. So remember white circles for solar keratosis, IEC, SCC invasive, and keratoacanthoma, and perhaps for lupus erythematosus as well. Thank you very much.